Hi guys, and welcome again to the channel. I'm doing another tutorial tonight on a move that I've done a video on before, but I wanted to do a more complete video. So I'm going to do all of my work on the Bertram change, including the BLT, the double Bertram change, the round of thumb change, and the Tenkai palm. So all of that stuff together, along with a bit of lapping, to show you it's my fidget move of choice. It's what I do when I'm just mucking about with cards all the time. So I've changed a few bits up on it, very similar. Just added a few tweaks and different ways that it handles well. For me, you may do the original handling of the Bertram and prefer that. Either way, it's just good to have options. So I'll show you now my take on the Bertram change. All right, so let's look at the BLT sequence. Again, this is something I've put out before, but I want to do this and a few other touches that I've had. So the BLT sequence looks like this. You flick a card out of the deck, in this case the 5 of hearts, which becomes the ace of clubs, which is kind of cool. When you flip it round, it becomes a 5 again, so it's kind of nice for like a hallucination type vibe, and then you can look at it closely, flick it, and it becomes the ace, which leaves you clean as well, which is really nice. So that involves 4 moves that I really enjoy doing. I'll show you now another application for it. So this is another application of the 2 moves that I'll be teaching, or 2 of the moves I'll be teaching. But it's really nice because you can have 2 people choose a card and use the blank card as your like a mind reading card. So you say to the first person, what was the card you were thinking of? They say 6 of clubs. Okay, just imagine the 6 of clubs here, and they do, and it becomes 6 of clubs, which is kind of nice. You then make it go back to the mind reading card and say what was the other one, and they say 5 of diamonds, and it becomes their card as well. So you can almost make it look like they're hallucinating this and tell them actually no, it's just a blank card. So it's really nice. Right, let's start with the top shot. Now, I think starting this whole thing with a top shot is very important because you get to deceive people straight off the bat. Most magicians and lay people, when you flick a card out, they're expecting you to flick a card out. That's cool enough on its own. So to be able to flick a card out and it actually be a double is really important, because now you're so far ahead with the changes. Because what would normally have to happen, you'd have to flick this card out and then come back and add another card to it and all that sort of stuff. So it eliminates that bringing the card back to the deck. Okay, so instead of this and then coming here and stealing a card and all that sort of stuff, you just need to do a double top shot, which looks again like this. And it's nice and accurate. You can get straight into the changes without ever having to go back towards the deck, which I think is key to this whole thing. So let's look at the top shot itself. Now, there is a get ready. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you know, with the other one, there's no get ready. You just hold it, you flick it, and you catch it and all that stuff. I really can't do it. But the get ready is done with this action. So this action of bringing the deck apart and then catching it is like a slingshot, like this. And that larger action covers the smaller action. Not to the point where it's invisible, but to the point where you're not looking like you're doing such a get ready. Okay, that's a... it's not like this. That's not what you want to do. Okay, you want to sort of be in action. So that get ready, and what that get ready is, I'll show you in a second, but it's done like this. So you almost pick the card up and pull at the same time. Okay, you don't need to hide the fact that that's bent, but it's just nicer than this. Yeah, it just looks less like you're getting ready. So that get ready is done. Yeah, on the action of squaring, and boom. Let's look at the get ready itself. First and foremost is the fingers on this hand. Initially, you'll have all 4 fingers. Now, you see they look like 4 bald men looking over a wall. Okay, that's what you really want, because they're going to hold tension on the card that is bent, but you don't want to be up like this so the card can't release itself. Now, initially, I started with 4 fingers doing this, so I'd come in like this and hold it with the 4 fingers, so that card was bending against those fingers. I now really only use the middle finger. The reason I use the middle finger is because then you want the tension to be going along the middle of the card, which means the card will fly out in a straight line. If you use the bottom finger, for example, it will spin out this way, which you don't want. So middle finger, holding that card in place. Now, some people, to release, what they try and do is push down on this end, which ruins your cards. That's not the way to release it. The way you release is you take the deck and you bevel. Just bevel like this, okay? Now, you'll see what I mean. If you take the cards like this and you try and push that top card over, it won't go anywhere because your fingers are in the way, right? If you bevel the deck, now look, it just comes off. Yeah, because it goes over the top of the fingers because of the bevel. So no bevel, doesn't move, bevel, and it's a very slight bevel. That now comes off the top. Okay, so if you do that a couple of times, you'll get the idea of how just beveling those cards out from here to there with the release. Yeah, a little bit of pressure down and the bevel will send that card out. And it's just a very slight bevel, but it's almost like as you push down with your thumb, the natural thing for the cards to do is to follow that out. Okay, so it's a bit knacky, but again, just so I'm trying to watch the screen and do this top shot. I do apologise. So I'm essentially doing it without looking. You see how it ends up beveled? I'll do it again without trying to sort of exaggerate it. Yeah, you see how that's now beveled over rather than being here as I shoot that out. So that's the top shot, and it really is that simple. And to do a double top shot, it's exactly the same thing. You just get 2 cards instead of 1. Okay, so you get 2 cards as you come back, you bevel, and you flick it. Now, the catch on the single and doubles are different, whether you want it face up, face down, or double. So again, it's not too complicated. But let's look at the single card. So if you want to go face up, you can catch it face up. If you want to go face down, oh, excuse me, you want to go face down, you want to go face down, you can catch it face down. Oh my god, I must look at my hands. Okay, just prove it's not a fluke. So what I'm doing is essentially the same flick of the card. Now the natural progression of this card, I better prove to you actually. I'll do face up, face up, face down, face down, face up, just to prove that I'm not lying about this being face down, face down, face up, just to prove a point. Okay, so the reason that is, you'll notice when I do the card flick, it always comes off the deck. Because of the natural trajectory of it, you do this, it curls like this. It naturally flies off the deck in this angle and then ends up face up. So to catch it face up, you leave your hand at the distance, and you'll work out the distance of how far you flick it, and you let the card land in your hand. You catch it without moving your hand, and that will allow the card to do its full rotation. If you want to catch it face down, all you're going to do with this hand is you're going to interrupt the flight. You're going to come in a little bit closer and catch it before it has a chance to turn over. Okay, so you're not trying to adjust how you flick the card. That just becomes way too fiddly. You're just going to catch it here for face up, or interrupt the flight for face down. Now the reason you can do face up and face down is obviously if you want to show a card, great. If you want to sort of add a bit of tension and then show it, you can do it like that. But with the double, you're going to catch it in the face down method. Now the reason for this is with the face up one, you're catching it at fingertips. Okay, but face down, you notice how you catch it in your palm. You're actually interrupting it and you're catching it in your palm. Now, because it's a double, you want to catch it with as much control as possible. Okay, so you take your double and you come in and catch it close. Now, because your hand is around it, you're able to, if it doesn't land square, you're able to square it pretty quickly. Whereas if you try and catch a double at your fingertips, you're really asking for trouble. You can see already how that's split. Okay, so it's just not worth doing. You come in and you catch it here, and you can just straighten it up as you catch it, and also it immediately allows you to get into the grip for the Bertram, so it's ideal. Hope that makes sense, and you can just wind that back and practice as much as you want to get that confident. You know, it really doesn't take long, and once you know about the beveling and where to catch it, it will come to you really quickly. The way I practice face up, face down is to give myself a pattern, whether it be face up, face down, or whatever. Just write down a pattern and try and follow it over and over again. So that is my top shot. Okay, so now you've got the top shot down. Hopefully you've doing this bit by bit. I'm going to get into the Bertram from the top shot. So everything I'm doing from the top shot, because I feel like it really is important that that's where this starts, because again, you're so far ahead of people because no one expecting you to flick out a perfect double, which you can hopefully now do. All right, so let's look at the technique behind getting into Bertram change from a double top shot. Okay, so Bertram change from a double top shot. Okay, again, if you want to get into a different way, it's fine, but for this, I want to, when I catch it here, now I'm going to take this card, turn it over like this. Now, what I don't do, a lot of people when they try and do a Bertram change or any kind of sort of Tenkai change, is they try to steal this card away from the back of the other one. They try and do this. Okay, now what? Yeah, into Tenkai. Let's talk about Tenkai very quickly. That's a Tenkai palm. Okay, so it's just on your palm and on your thumb. There's no real pressure. It's just sitting there. And if you angle your hand to the back of your hand to the audience, you have quite natural fingers. Your thumb's actually quite natural, but out of sight. So you can look quite natural with the Bertram, and then you can come in with your finger and produce that. So it looks like this. So it's really a natural thing, and you're just coming in into here and taking it, and from the back you can see you're just coming in from here. It should naturally land against your palm. So your two fingers are taking it here. Your thumb will just land on it. You're not grabbing it with a thumb. It will just land in place. Now, what I recommend you do is to find a comfortable position. What you don't want to do is be too high with this card. If you're too high, you're flashing all over the place. It's got to be. It's actually quite low down, so it's underneath this line at the bottom of your fingers. Okay. Start here with it in position, and then come out, and then you should naturally be able to put that back in position, and you'll start to get a feel for where those fingers need to go. If you actually start in the correct position and work backwards, that should help you get in position rather than trying to work out how to get into the right position. All right, so here and up. So that's your Tenkai. You don't have to do it from two fingers. You can do it from here and just pivot that down. Okay, so here and just pivot it down off your middle finger. Again, start here and swing it up, and then when you come down, you'll be in the right position. So just play with that going in and out of Tenkai for a while. Once you've got that move in your arsenal with the double top shot, you're now in position. You're here. Now, what I say most people do is this. They try and steal this card off with flashes. What I do when I catch the card is I actually put the card... I turn like this to show the face card. As I do this, I push the face card off. I actually put both cards into Tenkai and then push the top card off, and my thumb will naturally land. So I catch the card, I put both into Tenkai and then push this one away, and your thumb will naturally land where you need to be. Again, from here, catch the card, grab it, put both into Tenkai and then push this one out. Rather than trying to spin this one off, which gives all the flashing, you put both in, push the front one out, and then the other one gets left behind. Okay, so it looks like this in real time. Yeah, it looks, there's a real nice continuation of movement. You see how the back becomes the front, the back becomes, and there's none of this. All right, they stay together. When you get to here, you push the top one out and then bring it here. So you'll see this is the position you'll be left in. And when you're Tenkai in a card, it's very easy to hold other stuff because you're not using your fingertips, you're not using your fingers at all. It's so that this obviously explodes, but this is easy to hold, grip and hold things, no problem. Okay. Do watch out for windows a little bit, but yeah, essentially you can hold that. So. Putting those in, actually double top shot, come in, place both into Tenkai as you rotate this hand to show the card face up. So here, rotate and pull this one away as you point to it and say the 5. Now this move, okay, for the change, what you're doing, I'll show you from the front and then the back, is you're holding this card downwards. You can hold it out like this as well and do it vertical, but the body is not great, so I've learned to do it this way, just face up, and then you don't have this awkward kind of get in position, especially for a camera. Catch, take. I want to switch this for a red card just so we can see the difference a little bit easier. So the 2, you catch it face down, you come in, show the 2. Okay, and this is now Tenkai'd. Now you hold the card between your finger, middle finger and thumb. Again, just give you more freedom to move. You're here, you're a little bit stiff, whereas that way you can move your finger and it can just be a little bit more natural. And all you're going to do is, the action is this, you're going to slide. But as you go up, these two corners, now try and do it from the back as well, these two corners will line up. Okay, just naturally as you go up the card, they will line up like this. Yeah, they'll line up, so that's what will be happening under your hand. Once they line up, as you bring your hand down, now another key to this is when you do this, you go down past to show the bottom of the card, which makes it so much more magical when you change. You actually go past, show the bottom, the little pip of the two there, and then down. And you're just letting this, your fingers will naturally pull those together. Now, I think the Bertram is done from the opposite corner normally. So the far side, away from your body. And you actually come across like this. And then down. That's the way the Bertram change is normally done. I found this to be a really unnatural sort of way. Although it looks beautiful, there's no doubt about it, because you see loads of the bottom card. I found it really unnatural to go all the way over here to this far corner and down. So what I did, I moved it back to the inner corner. So now I'm just holding the edge, and there's none of this weird kind of going all the way across and down. As beautiful as the other one is, it really is. I just find this so much more a natural movement. And not only been natural, I think it's more open as well. You show the card and it changes. There's hardly any movement on any of the fingers. I think it's really, really nice. Now, I came up with this on my own. I'm not saying I invented it. I'm pretty sure someone else will do it this way. There's no doubt about it. I've saw somebody do this move. I've never read up on it. So I'm not saying that this stuff is original. I'm just saying this is what I come up with. This is my work on it. So again, I don't steal that card away. I put both into Tenkai and push that one out. And again, if you turn your body so you can see the non-exposed view, you turn it around and push it out. Real nice, clean. And then you're almost not doing anything. Nothing happens with the, you're really clean on that change. So here and here. So you're up and down. So I don't like this over the top, beautiful move. I just want it to look like I just went, yeah. So that is the Tenkai change as I do it. Okay, so I come into this top corner, in my case where the pip is, I'm holding it in my left hand. I move up the card like this, I align them up, and I come down again. You'll see it allows for a much cleaner action. So there you go. That is my handling of the Bertram change. What I do is I don't stop there. So when I catch this face down, I come in and quickly change it. Now what's nice is you're obviously clean here. So once I've changed it face up, I do this move, which is a round the thumb change. Now this just looks stunning. I think this is just such a visually great move. It looks like one card the whole time, like it never goes out of your sight. So here and round, it's really, really nice. I love it. Again, I came up with this, but I'm sure it's out there. So if you guys, I'm not crediting people. I just don't even know where to start looking for this stuff. I've never read up on these moves. So again, all this is very, very similar to the Tenkai when you push the card out. So when you did this earlier, we pushed it out to here, didn't we? Right. So when it was like this, we came around and pushed this card out. Now, if you do it from a face-up position, so put them both into Tenkai, push this card out. But when you push this card out, you just carry on. This thumb will land on the Tenkai card. You carry on round your thumb into your between your finger and middle finger. So face here, in, round, leaving that behind, which will again, the idea of putting them both in a Tenkai and leaving one behind allows this move to really be undetectable. But you can see down here, I'm just holding this out. Now you want to get this as silent as possible. You don't want to be doing it like this, obviously. So just try and have a nice soft touch to it, and then you get this moment. So you've now gone from top shot, Tenkai, and you're already, as soon as you finish Tenkai, you're in the position to get hold of this, put both in, carry that round to here. Now you're obviously in a bit of a position where you've got a card in Tenkai palm, so you're not exactly clean, but there is a very old method of cleaning up with a Tenkai, with a Bertram change. So a lot of people don't do the Bertram change as a change, they'll do it as a cleanup. And now all you're going to do is exactly the same thing as before, but face down. So all that happens is you load that card secretly on the back of the 2. So you look messy here, but when you just do this, you secretly load that card onto the back of the 7. So 7 becomes a 2, clean hands. Okay, again, 2 becomes a 7. Grab that and just kind of, as you turn it around, you load that on the back. So you're clean as a whistle. There it goes, which leaves you nice and clean. Now, to finish up this sequence, what I do is I take the card face up, I flip it, and all you're doing there is just a full 360, and it will land, you can practice that, it lands here together. Now, this time you're going to do half of, whereas before you did this, right? Yeah, so you took the card and you spin it around to here. What we're going to do instead is you're going to go from here to here. Okay, you're going to bring it up. So instead of going all the way around with this, you're actually going to just stop halfway and bring it up. Now, this timing is really nice for lapping, because I bring it up to look at it and I relax just for 1 second, and then I come up and flick it. In that second, I'm going to lap the Tenkai card. So here, yeah, you see how just that little moment from here to here is enough for this hand to drop naturally, then come up and flick it. So it should look like to the audience that you've taken the thing and flicked it. Okay, that's what it should look like because of their where their attention is. So 7 becomes a 2, and now you're clean and you can throw the card down. Very, very nice. Very, very cool. One last thing, which again for completeness is a move that I've not really mastered or anything else, but it's just an idea I came up with. So to finish that off, and again, I don't use it because I think it's just one too many changes, but it's something you might get something out of. So you come here like this, and instead of ditching on this card, you're going to just hold it here. You can flick with one hand and it becomes a 2, and you throw it face up on the table. This card's still Tenkai. Now what I do is I pick this card up, and as I pick it up, I'm going to lap it I'm going to lap this card as I grab this card and flick it out. 2, 7, come in, turn, you lap as you flick this one out. Okay, so again, it's just an idea I've had. I've not really mastered it, but come up here and don't flick it out too far. Okay, so it looks kind of nice. Here and out. Oh, it wouldn't flick out a screen. It would be great. I'll try and do one more about the over the top flick. 7. Oh, my table's too, but you get the idea, right? You get the idea. It's changing again. So again, I think it's overkill for this sequence, but it's a nice little touch. That's the change. All right. So yeah, have a play with those, and I'll show you the final piece of thinking that I've had behind the Bertram change. With the double change. All right, so let's talk double change. Now, I appreciate you. I've been sitting here talking for like 20 odd minutes, so I won't be too long with this. This is just an idea I have with a blank card. You have 2 cards chosen, and then you can make the first card appear and disappear. But what's great is about any extra movement, you can make the second card appear and disappear as well. So all we're doing, you probably figured it out, is using a double facer. Okay, but what's nice about the Bertram change and the round the thumb change is it sets you up for one to the other without any kind of fiddling with the card. So it looks like it's just taking things way further, but actually you're just cheating ever so slightly. So again, this is an idea I've had. I've not really made into a routine, but I can imagine very easily forcing out 2 cards. If you wanted a very, very simple way of doing this, you got the 6 on the bottom and the 5 in the middle, and you could take the blank card and just say to somebody, I want you to pop that in the middle. And so you just do this, and they pop that in the middle. Now you spread everything above the blank card. You turn this hand face up. As you grab the card here, turn everything face down and put these on top and say, let's just make sure that we know that is your blank card and that is where you put it. And all you're doing is you're cutting the cards around the blank cards. So obviously you've got the 6 and the 5. They go in the middle. That goes in the middle, and you just say, no, let's make sure that we can see it is your card, no funny stuff, and that is where you split. Okay, you two have you can have the cards either side of the blank card. That's a nice, easy way of forcing out 2 cards and bringing the blank card into play. They can put those back in. While they're doing that, what I'd recommend you do, because you can't really hide this card in the deck too much, is have this on your lap. It's a sitting down thing, or in your pocket if you're standing up. But I'd recommend doing this at a table. So have this in your lap, and all you're going to do is you're going to just go into your lap and tenkai that card. It doesn't matter which way up it is. You'll be able to see. You'll see from here. You can see down as to which one it is. All right. So that's my view back here. So you put the cards, you shuffle the cards, and say, I don't need those, I just need this, which is, it's like a mind reading. It's not actually going to read your mind, but you'll see, and it will allow me to see what the card is as well. Now, you can play this 2 ways. You can just get them to think of their card, which is very cool, because their reaction will be insane, or you can get them to name it if you want people to know that you're definitely doing the right thing and not give them the option to change their mind. But I like doing this to the couple of times I've done it without. I'll just say to you first person, I want you to think of whichever card it is that you picked, and you'll see, by the way, which one they pick, because obviously you'll know where the 5 and the 6 are with the cut. It's very simple. The bottom card obviously ends up on top of the blank card and so on. So you say to the person who picked the 6, just think of your card, and I want you just to stare at this for me, okay? Just focus, and then you're going to just do the Bertram change, and their card will appear on that blank card. Now you're still clean, and I make out like you can't see it, and say if you're thinking of your card hard enough, you should be able to see it. All right, and then you come round and say that won't last forever. The same will work for your card as well. Now, because of that round the thumb change, it brings the card to the opposite orientation. Okay, so now when you say to the second person, they think of their card and it becomes their card. Now all I do here is that same clean up where I come halfway, but it doesn't last forever. It's only a blank card. It's all in your mind, and you end up clean just by ditching that card. So with those few moves that I've shown you, and that's just a presentation idea, you should be able to really get some performance mileage out of these moves. All right, so that is my work on the Bertram. It's not super groundbreaking, but I think the double facer with the around the thumb change is a really nice touch, and also getting into it via the double top shot is quite an original thing, I think. I say I've not looked into any of this. I've never read up on the move. I've just seen it done years and years ago and sort of came up with a way of doing it. I'd love to hear your comments on what you think about the move, the sequences, and the routine at the end there. Really appreciate you watching, and again, thanks for sticking around on the channel. I'll be doing a lot more tutorials, a lot more theory talks, and when I can, I'll try and throw in some performances as well. But guys, thank you always for your time, and I will see you very soon. Big love.